Yo, what is up, everybody? Popo here, bringing guys a new video. And today we're going to be ranking every single Pokemon that is in ZA for their viability in Pokemon Champions competitive. Of course, we still don't know what Pokemon are going to be allowed in Pokemon Champions, but I'm going to assume that all of the ZA mons are going to be allowed. So we're just going to rank those and kind of see how it goes. So we are making a pretty big assumption. This is going to be a pretty long video, so make sure you sit back, go get some snacks, and just chill out. But yeah, our rankings here are going to be top Metamons, team specific, niche, and pretty bad. I don't want to put anything in terrible, though some of these are pretty terrible. So yeah, let's get right to it. First we have Meowstic. I tried to put them in order with their megas and stuff, so if I do have it messed up, then we'll see. But yeah, first we have Meowstic. Now Prankster is pretty good. I think it's the male one that has Prankster and the female one doesn't. I'm going with that case. Meowstic is a pretty niche Pokemon. It's not very good. The one that doesn't have Prankster is pretty bad. I wouldn't use that one. You, of course, want the Prankster. You can go for skill swap stuff, which is pretty fun, but overall, it's just not that good, and there's always going to be better Pokemon to set up screens and stuff like that, but it is definitely an option for that. It's pretty frail. Its damage is okay, though, so you can have it as a support that can output a little bit of damage, but overall, not that great. Now, for Mega Meowstic is... It depends on its ability. If it keeps Prankster, it's probably going to be pretty bad. So I'm going to go with niche based on the fact that maybe it will have a pretty decent ability, you know, and I'm ranking these against the other Pokemon that are going to be in this, not against any Pokemon that is legally viable, especially in today's VGC, like the Paradoxes and stuff, because I really doubt that the Paradox is going to be allowed, especially in that first ranked season. Next we have Baxcalibur. I think Baxcalibur has a chance of being a Metamon. It was really good in the limited formats that we had when early on in Scarlet and Violet. It was a menace, right? It does a lot of damage. It's pretty good. And I think now that it has a Mega, I think it's also going to be a Metamon. I don't see it as a top Metamon, but I do think it will be a Metamon that can output a lot of damage. It has really great bulk, and if it keeps Thermal Exchange, it can't even be burned. So it has a lot going for it. People think it's going to get Intrepid Sword. I don't think so, but hey, you know, who knows, right? Like, who knows? Anything can happen. All right, next we have Goldango. I think Goldango is a top Metamon. If you see it right now, or even in Regulation H, it was incredible Mon. If you go all the way back to the more limited formats as well, an incredible Mon, right? This thing can hit everything basically for at least neutral, so it can output that damage. It has Nasty Plot for some reason. It can't be like affected by status conditions, so it can't be spored, anything like that. The Mon's really good. Its one downside going into this is that Terrestrialization is not going to be around, so it is a lot weaker to the Garchomps, and it's a lot weaker to, you know, Excadrill too, so you do have to be careful about that. But overall, I think if you could set this Mon up, especially under Tailwind, and get a Nasty Plot up, it has the best spread move, like, for a non-restricted Pokemon in the game, so put that in the perspective. Next we have Sableye. I think Sableye is actually team specific. I think this is going to be a pretty good Pokemon. It has access to Will-O-Wisp at priority speed. You can also fake out with it, and you can set up screens. You can do Quash. So there's quite a few things you could do with it. And Sableye, generally in the past, has been a pretty decent Mon in limited formats. So I think that I think Sableye is going to be team specific, and I think some teams will thrive on whether or not they can get this Sableye working and going. Mega Sableye is pretty bad. It just doesn't do anything. I know it's really good in singles. I don't know why. I don't really pay attention to singles, but it's really good in singles. Not going to be good here. Melodic, I think Melodic could be niche. I don't think it's terrible. It just depends on if Rillaboom's in the format and how much Intimidate is in the format. The better that something like Scrafty is, the better that Melodic will be, because it's a Pokemon that pairs very well into that. But overall, I think it's a pretty meh Mon, and it just has some good bulk and can output some damage if it gets a stat lowered. Next is Metachan. Regular Metachan is pretty bad. It doesn't do anything. So if you do have it as your mega choice, like it's gonna be a mega hog, so you do have to be careful about that. But I think Mega Metachan is it's probably worse than Sableye, but I think having pure power is huge, huge power as well. Because they do the same thing, but it can just output a ton of damage. We've seen it have success in limited format in the past when it was legal, and yeah, I think it could still be pretty decent. I don't think it's going to be the best choice. I think there's a lot of Pokemon still better, but maybe a team specific that is looking for this combination with Psychic and Fighting on it, being able to go for those Zen Headbutts, which can miss, unfortunately. So you do have to be careful about that, but overall, I think it is a pretty decent Mon. Next is Hisuian. Well, no, it's not Hisuian, is it? It's what is his name? I can't think of his name, but yeah, he's niche. Intimidate is pretty good. Why can't I think of his name for? I'm just blanking on his name. But yeah, it's pretty niche. It's not a great Pokemon. Intimidate is really good. You can go Swift Swim. Will Rain be good? I'm not too sure about that. Pelipper's not in here, so like I don't think Rain's gonna be that relevant. Weather might not even be super relevant in the whole first like regulation or until they add some more Mons, because there's not really any weather Mons besides sand. So we might see a lot of sand, but I don't see this Pokemon being very good. Next is Noibats. I think Noibat is pretty bad, though it can do some things. It can do Boom Burst stuff. It can also go for Tailwind. It is a really fast Pokemon. With Covert Cloak, it makes it a lot better. So there are options for this Pokemon. I just don't think it's going to be the best Pokemon. Sceptile is pretty bad. It's probably here. Sceptile's not good at all. It's just fast, right? It just doesn't really do anything else. And Mega Sceptile, also bad. It's just slightly better and now has a 4x weakness to ice. So it just gains more weaknesses really, and it loses a fire weakness. So like what are we really even doing here? Next we have Sylveon. I think Sylveon has a chance to be a Metamon. This is one of the only good fairies in this whole thing. There's a lot of really bad fairies, and then you have Sylveon. And Sylveon can output a lot of damage, of course, with Pixelate, Hyper Voice. You can even go Quick Attack to finish off Pokemon. It's going to be really good against some of the other stuff like this Baxcalibur. And there's a lot of other dragons, Garchomp and stuff that this Pokemon can pressure. And it makes them or forces them have to bring their Steel type out or whatever it might be, because there are some really good Steel types, but not any good fairies in my opinion. The fairy pool is pretty limited in this. Next we have Houndoom. I'm a big fan of Houndoom, but man, he's so bad. His defense and HP are just too low. His damage output is okay, and the same goes for a Mega. Like the Mega's better, but like it's a Mega Hog once again, and it just doesn't do enough to warrant that slot. So next is Porygon 2. I think Porygon 2 is a top Metamon. I think it's going to be one of the best Trick Room users, if not the best Trick Room user in the whole format. I think there's one better, but I'm a little biased. But yeah, I think Porygon 2 is insanely good. There's a lot of good Pokemon to take advantage of Trick Room, and this is going to be the way that you're going to set that up most times. It also works outside of Trick Room, and as you can see in current formats, it can output some pretty decent damage, especially with download. I think Trace, in limited formats, I feel like Trace is a little bit better, but in formats where it widens up a little bit more, then download starts to take a little bit of a precedence, and it depends on the team too. But I think we might see a lot of Trace going on this Pokemon, and yeah, it's gonna be pretty good because the Megas have very good abilities, a lot of them, and tracing their abilities is good too. Porygon Z, I think Porygon Z is going to be a niche Pokemon. It outputs a ton of damage. Adaptability is just so strong. Adaptability going into like Hyper Beam with Silk Scarf or Choice Specs, like it just does an insane amount of damage. So You could do some tricks with that. You can go for like hyper beam and then you can roar yourself out. Like that's a really cool play that you can do that people don't often do. Like I think I've seen it exactly one time ever, and I think it's just such a cool play. Though it's a very niche play, but I think it's a lot of fun. Dondozo, I think Dondozo is a top meta mon. There is a lot less Pokemon to stop this beast. He is going to be absolutely tearing through teams. You're gonna have to have a counter to it. You're gonna have to run Haze. You're gonna have to run Clear Smog. Like, you need to have something for Dondozo, because in this limited of a format, this Pokemon is really good, and he's basically a second Mega Pokemon. And we don't even know what Mega Tatsugiri does, but if it is the what people think it's going to be, which I don't believe, that it gives +3 to everything if you are Mega Tatsugiri or whatever it might be. Yeah, like this Pokemon is absolutely insane. Tatsugiri, this is just all forms Tatsugiri. I mean, it has to go with him, but in reality, I mean, if you're going to use it by itself, it's pretty bad. Like this is probably what it is. But you're always going to be using it with Dondozo, so it's just always going to be Dondozo. It just depends on what item's going to be best. It depends on Tatsugiri's ability. If Mega Tatsugiri has a really good ability, then you're going to run the Mega Stone. But if it doesn't, then it's still going to be Focus Sash or Choice Scarf on your Tatsugiri to get those bigger attacks off and more consistently. So yeah, it all depends on what's going on in the meta. Once again, fairies aren't very good, and that's one of the things that pressures this, but dragon types are really good. So, it's a kind of back and forth thing. If you could take care of all the dragons with your Dondozo, because there's no terrestrialization, that's going to be a downfall of Dondozo too. You probably going to have to run safety goggles on a lot of Dondozos because you can't grass terror anymore. So it all depends. There's going to be a lot of stuff, but I think Dondozo is a huge threat, and it's going to be an insanely good Pokemon. Next, we have Rotom Wash. I think this is also a niche Pokemon. I think Rotom Wash in some formats has been very good. In other formats, it has been bad. I think it lost a lot in this, in Scarlet and Violet because of terrestrialization. It just didn't pair as well into a lot of things, and things could take the position that it was taking that were bulkier and had more HP with that terrestrialization going into that water type, right? So, I just think that Rotom Wash could be good again. Will-O-Wisp is always good. You go for Hydro Pumps. The problem is every one of its moves can miss besides Thunderbolt, so you do have to be careful. Delphox. I think Delphox is niche. It's probably at the low end of niche. It can still go for Expanding Force. You can go Choice Scarf, Choice Specs, Expanding Force, so stuff like that still works, and it's going to be really good. But I think Mega Delphox is going to be probably one of the best Pokemon, if not the best Pokemon in the whole entire format. This Pokemon's absolutely insane, right? It's going to have access, it has access to all the moves already, like Heat Wave and Expanding Force, and it just gains stats where they are really, really wanted. It's just going to output a ton of damage. And that's without knowing its ability. So as soon as we learn its ability, a lot of people are saying it's going to be Levitate. I don't think it's going to be Levitate. If it is Levitate, then this Pokemon, it goes down to definitely a niche Pokemon, down in the low end of niche Pokemon. Though it does make it, it makes it so it can't get hit to one of its weaknesses, which is always a good thing. But then it can't use the terrain either. You'd have to use like gravity terrain, which sounds really bad. Jolteon. Jolteon is pretty bad. Jolteon's never really been good. I don't even know if it gets Electro Web, but maybe that's something you can do. I don't even know if it gets Nuzzle, but that's also something you could do, I guess. But it's just not a good Pokemon in my opinion. It never has been. Goodra. I think Goodra is also on this list of pretty bad. It just doesn't really do anything. It's super bulky, but its damage output is extremely limited. But Hisuian Goodra, I think, is actually pretty good. I think it's going to be team specific. It does something that Dondozo can't do, which is get by Clear Smog. It can also Heavy Slam for quite a bit of damage onto the limited amount of fairy types, and it can take attack or two, even if from special attack, because it has a huge special defense. As a huge defense, you can go Iron Defense. It also has Life Dew, so you have some recovery on it. And with the leftovers, like this thing could heal up completely. Its typing is one of the best in the game. Dragon and Steel is an insanely good typing. So yeah, I think that Goodra will be good. I think it'll be like Goodra when it first dropped. It was actually pretty decent. Of course, it didn't have great results, but I think it'll be in that kind of tier of Pokemon again. I think it'll be pretty good. Rotom Fan is probably one of the worst Pokemon. Rotom Fan is terrible. It's the worst of the Rotoms. This is pretty bad too. Camerupt is bad, but I think Mega Camerupt is actually gonna be pretty good. It's gonna be the best Eruption user if Torkoal's not in the game, and it's really slow. So you can use, you know, Trick Room and then go into Eruption. You can manually set Sun. So there's quite a few things you could do. Of course, it's not going to be as good as Torkoal, though it does have much higher special attack than Torkoal. And yeah, it has 4 times weaknesses, but we don't talk about those. We just talk about what it can do and what it can, not what it can't do. Pinsir is really bad. It's never been good. Mega Pinsir, it had a time. There was a time back in the day for about a week where this was one of the best Pokemon in the game, and then it just never came back. It just didn't come back. Glaceon's pretty bad too. It's probably up here though. It can go for Blizzard stuff, but it, you know, even with the buff to Sand, it just, I mean, to Hail, it's not very good. When you talk about those, Flamigo, I think Flamigo's team specific. If you're using, like, you can still do the Dondozo Flamigo team, that kind of works. Like, you can get that to work for sure, especially against a lot of the newer players who aren't really going to know what this combination does, like in early regulations. Then you could take advantage of that, people who are brand new to the game, and just do something stupid with those. But also it pairs really well with a lot of the other Pokemon, like that go for Sword Dance and stuff. We don't have Smeargle, so you can't do any of the Smeargle stuff. Muck's not in the game either. So it can do still quite a few things. It's also really good just as a scrappy user. You can go for close combats and Brave Birds into those ghost types. So yeah, like it's not too bad. I think it's actually pretty decent. Aurora is pretty bad. I always want this Pokemon to be good, but its 4 times weakness to Steel is just an absolute, and fighting is just absolutely like abysmal. Cragnole is also pretty bad. It's probably better than this. It has good special defense, and actually its damage output's not too bad, but yeah, it's just good enough. Palisand is really bad. It's probably even worse than that. It just doesn't really do anything. You can, you know, if Water Impact got rid of, like, it took no damage from water attacks and got a defense boost, I think it could be okay, but it doesn't do that. It just takes the damage and then just dies. All right, Kecleon is bad. I don't know why you would use this Pokemon. Okay, so if I did miss a Pokemon because I couldn't find it back in the list, I put it at the bottom. So next we have Hawlucha. I think Hawlucha is pretty bad. It's never really been good. It can do a couple of things, but nah. And I think Mega Hawlucha is going to be pretty niche. I'll probably put it above Meowstic. It depends on what its ability is. Strictly depends on what its ability is. Its stats are pretty okay. It's pretty fast, but there are other Megas that are way outspeeding this Pokemon. It didn't gain any speed, which is like, why? But yeah, so you're just kind of stuck with a Hawlucha that is now bulkier and can do more damage, basically. Chimecho is terrible. We're going to put it at the very bottom. Mega Chimecho is just bad Cresselia. It's but I think in a limited format, I think it's going to be pretty niche. I think this will be the number 2 Trick Room setter, but we'll have to see for that. It has to keep Levitate because it does gain that Steel typing, which does give it a little bit of an advantage over something like the Cresselia. But then it's just bad Bronzong, right? Because you have to use your Mega for Bronzong, but Bronzong's not in the game. That's why. Because this would be bad, and Bronzong would probably be niche or team specific. But next is Indeedee. Indeedee is going to be a top Metamon. This Pokemon right now in VGC is extremely good, and I think a lot of the meta is going to revolve around this, especially if Delphox gets Expanding Force, like, without Levitate, which it probably will. Then Indeedee is going to be one of the best Pokemon because it protects you. You also can, you set up that Psychic Terrain. If there's no other Pokemon that's putting up terrain like Rillaboom, then Indeedee's terrain's pretty much going to stick. You're going to have to go with something that can go for Ice Spinner. But most of those Pokemon are probably just going to go down to an expanding force. Like, it's just going to be like a helping hand expanding force just kind of destroys a lot of the Pokemon in this game. I don't know if any dark Pokemon get the Ice Spinner besides Chien-Pao, who's not going to be in it. So yeah, I don't know. Indeedee Male though, I think Indeedee Male's probably gonna be niche. It'll probably be niche. I'll probably put it here. It's probably better than this. I think it'll be niche. We'll see it played a very similar way that it is now. We have seen Sneasler actually put into the list, but once again, we're going off of, you know, the assumption that it's only going to be ZA Mons in the first regulation. Doesn't mean that you can't use Sneasler, but maybe you can't use Sneasler in the official tournaments or whatever it might be. We don't know. Nobody knows. Just all speculation. Gravehound. I mean, he's team specific because Sand is going to be pretty good. Tyrantar's there. You have Excadrill and then this Pokemon. We've seen it in the past in VGC and Scarlet and Violet. And that Last Respects does do a lot of damage. So it's something you can take advantage of. So I think it is going to be a pretty decent Pokemon, and I would expect to see this Pokemon, honestly, like quite often, actually, but very team specific. You're playing Sand, you're putting this on the team, basically what it is. It's just bad. I ain't even going to talk about it. Phalanx. Phalanx is really bad, but Mega Phalanx is actually going to be team specific. This is a good Mega. With the no retreat, it actually can get boosted, and its stats are already very, very good. And then you could just kind of sit there with like Drain Punch. You can heal it up with other ways and just keep this thing alive, and you're going to focus your team on this. So that's why it's going to be team specific. I don't think it's going to be a Metamon. I think this is going to be more of like a rogue team that's good against the meta. Maybe you're doing something specific to beat, you know, those Dondozo teams or whatever it might be. I think that's going to be the way to deal with it. This is bad. This is bad. Delibird goes down here. The Liverbird, that's what people are calling it now, I guess. Kangaskhan, I think Kangaskhan is I mean, just regular Kangaskhan is pretty bad, though as a pre-Mega evolution, it's actually not that bad, but you're never going to just bring Kangaskhan on the team. But Mega Kangaskhan is going to be a Metamon. It's going to be the peak of Metamon at the base of top Metamon, and here's why. We don't know if it gets Power Up Punch again, because it does get Power Up Punch in ZA, but Power Up Punch isn't in the game in Scarlet and Violet. So we're not sure how it's going to really translate or work or whatever it might be to Mega Kangaskhan. And if Mega Kangaskhan actually gets Power Up Punch back, it is definitely a top Metamon. If it doesn't, it will be a Metamon because it can still do quite a few things. And it does pretty good damage, right? But it has lost Return, it's lost Frustration, it's lost Power Up Punch. So there are things that are holding it back, but we'll have to see kind of where that sits. We also don't know how Return and Frustration would work if they are in the game. Maybe every Pokemon's just set to max happiness, so Return would be the move, but we have no idea. I doubt it's going to return, or if it does, it'll be nerfed. It'll be like, you know, 90 power or 100 power instead of 120. Klefki, I think Klefki is going to be a niche Pokemon. I'll put it around here. This is probably going to be the best, you know, combination Pokemon of Trick Room, setting screens, you know, Thunder Wave type thing. This is going to be that Pokemon. Its typing is the best typing in the game, which is Fairy Steel. So it has a lot going for it. So I do think it is going to be a really good threat, but it's going to be a niche Pokemon because it's competing with Porygon 2. If Porygon 2 wasn't here, I think Klefki probably is maybe even a Metamon, but I think because Porygon 2 is here, it does drop it down. The same with Indeedee, it kind of hurts it too. So but I do think Klefki will be pretty good, and I think people will use it, and I think it's going to be a Pokemon that you do have to keep in mind when loading up. Crocodile's pretty bad. It's probably up. It's probably up here though, because it does have Intimidate. It has Earthquake. You know, Crunch. Those are all good things. It's going to be really good into this. You know, the size spam stuff. So you do have to give it a little bit of credit in that, but they're just better. They're better options. Blaziken is bad. Mega Blaziken, I think, is a niche mon. I think it's okay. I just don't think it's the best. A lot of people overrate this Pokemon, I think. Yeah, Speed Boost is really good. It could do some damage. You could go for Sword Dance, but it's so frail. It's just so frail. I've never been a fan of it. I know it has performed decently well in the past, but yeah, I just never been a fan of it. All right, next we have Arbok. Arbok's bad. Yeah, it gets Intimidate, but it just doesn't really do anything else. Like, it just kind of does. The Dene, also bad. It's never been good. You can... does it get Fake Out? It might get Fake Out. But it gets Nuzzle. Bad. Trubbish. Not Trubbish. Whatever his name is. Okay. Here's... Man, this one's tough, okay? So, it depends. It really depends if Rillaboom's in the game. If Rillaboom's in the game, once again, we're going to assume that these are all the Pokemon. So, this is still bad, right? It does Wide Guard. It does a couple other things, Rock Slide kind of things, but it's not good. But this is very good, right? Because Swift Swim, it has a huge attack stat. It has really good move coverage. Like, Earthquake is just so strong. Like, it'll outspeed Delphox if you can get the rain up. I don't know how you're going to get the rain up. You're going to have to run, like, Prankster Rain Dance or something. That's, like, the only way. But, yeah, this Pokemon is very, very good. I think Dondozo is still a little bit better because it can't really touch Dondozo that's boosted up. But other than that, I think it's very good against, like, most of the meta. Like, most of the Pokemon that are in this, I think Mega Swampert is just very good. Bad. Meganium is really bad. Just base Meganium. Mega Meganium, depending on its ability, it's probably going to be a niche mon. I still don't see it being that good. It does have Moonblast, which is crazy. Like, bro, give it Moonblast. Rotom Grass is probably going to be super niche, probably at the bottom of niche. It has been good. It's going to be good against stuff like Swampert, but overall, it's just not a great Pokemon, never has been. The grass typing doesn't really give it too much besides more weakness, so it's just not that good. Dryalgi is not very good. I see people rating Mega Dryalgi, but I don't really think it's that good. It has a huge special defense, that's it. Scrafty, I think Scrafty's actually pretty niche. It's probably the top of niche. It has Intimidate, Fake Out, like Knockoff and stuff. The only thing it's missing is a way to pivot. If it had a way to pivot, U-turn or something, Parting Shot, it'd be extremely good. But you're usually going to run Assault Vest on this thing, and it's going to take a hit or two, and it's going to be really nice. Now, Mega Scrafty is probably going to be worse. I'm still going to put it in niche because it's possible that it actually gets a good, ability. It could get Intimidate, so you can Intimidate, and then you can Mega Intimidate again. That could be really cool. But I doubt it's going to get something like that. I'm not sure what it's going to get. It gains some attack. It gains a little bit of bulk, but you have more bulk actually as regular Scrafty with that Assault Vest. So it'll be really interesting to see how these work, because this could definitely be team specific. But for right now, I'm putting it here. It's good against the Delphox stuff too, so get that going. Hippowdon. Listen, Hippowdon would be okay. If Tyranitar wasn't in the game, it'd be the best sand setter. But unfortunately, it's not. Leafeon is really bad. Leafeon's probably one of the... I'll put it with Glaceon, but it's one of the worst. Rotom Freeze could be a niche Pokemon. I'm going to put it down here too. I think it's still better than Mo going into this one, because the boost to snow, but we've seen it hasn't really performed in regular VGC, so I don't see it. Tyranitar is definitely going to be a Metamon. This Pokemon is very, very good. Of course, you put up the sand. It helps everything else. Assault Vest, that bad boy. Like, it's doing everything you need. It's the best Pokemon into the Delphox stuff. It's possible that this is even a top Metamon, but I'm going to put it here because you do have things like the Dondozo. There's a lot of good fighting types and stuff like that. So it does get pressured, and it also can't terastallize out of that 4x weakness to fighting anymore. So it does lose a lot there. If you're using the Assault Vest, you can also be intimidated. So it's losing a lot of its attack and stuff like that. Mega Tyranitar, though, is probably going to be a team-specific Pokemon. Now, what's really good about this is that you can actually Mega to put the sand back up. So if they do get rid of the sand, you can Mega, get the sand back up, get those speed boosts. Of course, we saw Mega speed boost increases in Gen 7, but we didn't see like the sand stream or the sand rush speed boost going through until the turn after. So that's a big buff to something like that Excadrill. So you can take advantage of that. Like I said, if they switch into their their Snow Setter or whatever, and then you can Mega to put that sand back up and get those attacks off. So Throw and Sock, I should put these together as well. They're both pretty bad. We see Sock is actually meta in ZA, but it's not meta here. Vaporeon is probably the worst EV evolution besides Jolteon. There's Jolteon. It's better than Jolteon. It's worse than basically everything else. All right, Charizard. Base form Charizard is probably around here. Like, it's okay. Solar Power is still good. You don't have to Mega Evolve to take advantage of the damage. Though getting Sun Up is not something you're going to do. Because you have to do it manually, so there's not really a Pokemon I don't think there's a Pokemon that sets it with Drought, except for Mega Charizard Y, which I think will be the top of the Metamons. I think this is going to be, I don't think it's going to be a top Metamon, only because there's a lot more counters to it, and it is pretty frail. And I think that Tyranitar is going to be so good, which kind of just walls it. But it's still really, really strong. Setting up its own Sun, it has a huge special attack. It's really fast. It can just output massive amounts of damage. So yeah, I think this is going to be a Metamon. It's definitely petering on like top Metamons, but we'll have to see kind of how the format comes to be. There's also not a lot of Pokemon in this that actually can take advantage of the sun, so you're losing a lot on that too. Like you have Venusaur is basically the only one. Mega Charizard X. We saw like Wolf and stuff do pretty good with this Pokemon. I think it's going to be a team specific kind of Mega. It gets Sword Dance and stuff, so you can do some of that stuff. Dragon Claw, Flare Blitz. So there are things that this Pokemon does, but it's just a lot less viable, especially now with a lot more Pokemon in the meta. Fairy types are a little bit better, not in this regulation, but overall they're a little bit better than they were back then. So hitting those, you got Flare Blitz, of course, but yeah, they're able to take a Flare Blitz most of the time and just output damage back. So it's going to be a little bit harder to use Mega Charizard X, but I do definitely think it's still viable, and I think it's something you can still do. Blastoise. I think Blastoise is bad. Mega Blastoise is also bad. I think it's better, though. It's probably up here. Like, Mega Launcher is really good with Aura Sphere and Water Pulse and stuff, but other than that, it's like this Pokemon's not really doing anything. Steelix is really bad. Mega Steelix, on the other hand, I think will be a niche Pokemon. I don't think it'll be good by any means. It's probably down here, but being able to go for Iron Defense Body Press is pretty good now. It's still really slow, but 230 defense is just absolutely insane. Yeah, you can't really sleep on it. Cofagrigus. I think Cofagrigus is going to be a niche Pokemon. I think Porygon 2 is still going to be better. This is going to be a situation like Duskull, kind of. It's like you use Porygon 2 or you use Duskull. Cofagrigus can run the Mental Herb. It can go for Will-O-Wisp, so it can do and Pain Split, so it can do those things that Duskull does. It doesn't have the bulk Duskull has, but it has very, very good bulk. So I do think this Pokemon is going to be okay. I like its design. It has a cool design. So, you know, gives bonus points. Runaringus is terrible. All right, this is one of the worst Pokemon ever made. So we're going to put it down here. And this is the second worst Mega Evolution. So I'm going to put it here. And anybody who's saying this is a good Mega Evolution, like, bro, what are you talking? Like, what are you talking? Base form Charizard is better than Pyroar. Mega Pyroar. It's literally better than Mega Pyroar. And then you can also just Mega Charizard. Like, why would you ever use Mega Pyroar? It's so bad. And there's people out there that are saying Mega Pyroar is good. And, like, you're crazy. You're absolutely insane. All right, anyway. So, next is Liepard. I think Liepard's a niche Pokemon. This is a prankster Pokemon that can actually do quite a few things. It has Fake Out as well. It has Snarl. So there's quite a bit that this Pokemon does. It has really good supporting moves. So I do like Liepard. I used it a lot back in Generation 6. And I really enjoyed it, and it plays really well. It has U-turn and stuff, so you can do quite a few things. Musharna is really bad. I don't think this Pokemon's ever been good. Scolipede is pretty bad. I'm gonna put it here, but Mega Scolipede is actually, I think, is gonna be pretty niche, but still pretty good. It has Body Press now. You can go for, you know, Protects. Like, you could go for Protect on Scolipede to get Speed Boost to speed this thing up. And then you can go for the Mega. You're faster. Like, you have really good damage. You have really good defense. The typing is okay. So, like, yeah, there's like a lot you can do with this Pokemon. I really do like it. It'll be interesting to see kind of how it fits into the meta, though. Feraligatr is pretty bad. Mega Feraligatr, I think, will be bottom of niche as well. I just don't see this Pokemon being super good. It's going to be all dependent on its ability because, you know, having sheer force plus choice band is just going to be more damage than what it has now. So is it going to be worth actually going for the Mega Evolution? Probably not, but we'll have to wait and see. Aegislash. I think Aegislash is going to be a Metamon. This Pokemon is very good. If you remember back in 2006 when this Pokemon dropped, it was the absolute menace of VGC. It could be a physical attacker, a special attacker. King Shield is amazing, especially against physical targets that make contact. So things like this Baxcalibur, it's going to be really good. Plus, it hits Baxcalibur super effective. Baxcalibur can only hit it with like Earthquake. It also gets Wide Guard, I believe. So you can do some cool stuff with maybe a support version of it or whatever. But yeah, this Pokemon is just very good. It's easy to Will-O-Wisp it because King Shield doesn't actually protect against everything. It doesn't protect against any of like the conditional moves. It only protects against attacking moves. So you do have to be careful about that, but it's very good. And I already have mine made and ready to go. So why'd they even make this mon? Okay, Altaria, and I have Mega Altaria down here because I couldn't find it. Because there was at a certain point there was just too many mons. Altaria is terrible. Mega Altaria also terrible. I'm kind of just putting these randomly in here now. They're just not good. Like, Fairy Dragon you would think would be pretty good, but it's just not. It just doesn't do anything. Same with this. Ampharos and Mega Ampharos, it's just bad. It just doesn't do anything. This is just better Pokemon than you don't have to waste your stuff on. Frufro is bad. These are bad. Okay, Golisopod. Golisopod is pretty bad. I'm gonna put it like here because it did make top 8 at Worlds, right? We saw Golisopod top 8 at Worlds in 2023. Was it 2023? Yeah, or 2022? 2023, I think. And it actually should have made top 4, but the person got screwed. So yeah, Golisopod is actually not that bad. But Mega Golisopod, now this is going to be a team-specific Pokemon, but I think it's going to be at the top of that. This is a really strong Pokemon. 175 defense, like 155 attack. Bro's a beast. It all depends. It's all going to come down to what its ability is. Of course, I don't think it's going to have emergency exit, and if it does, then that's going to be bad. But if it has basically anything else, this Pokemon is insanely good. It is going to be so good. Yeah, I would be very concerned about this Pokemon. Umbreon. I think Umbreon's a niche Pokemon, but I think it is pretty good. It's going to be good against the Delphox stuff. It's really bulky. It can go for Yawn. It can go for Snarl, so it can do quite a few things. It's a really, really good Dark type, but it's going to be niche. It depends on how good some of the other mechanics are. It depends if this Pokemon's good. Go-Go is terrible. Aerodactyl's pretty bad. Mega Aerodactyl, though, I think will be a okay Mon. It's just whether or not you want to use this as your Mega Evolution when there are a lot of stronger Mega Evolutions out there. I just don't know. It's going to be a tough call. It has been okay in the past. We have seen it have some success. It's just really a meta call. It's like I feel like you just always pick Tyranitar over it if you're going to pick a rock type. The flying type is good if ground types are going to be very good, which I think they will be. So it does have that going for it, but then at the same time, it still gets hit by Excadrill and gets outsped by Excadrill before Mega. We don't know what the Mega is going to do. So yeah, it's kind of tough. Tinkaton, I think Tinkaton will be niche, probably the bottom of niche here. Still has Fake Out, still has Mold Breaker, so you can do some cool stuff with that. Gigaton Hammer does a lot of damage despite only have 73 attack or whatever it is. It's fast as well. Thunder Wave stuff is cool. It can do some stuff. Manectric is pretty bad. Mega Manectric is going to be probably the top of bad. It'll probably be around here. It does have Intimidate. It has had a little bit of success in the past. I just think it's been left in the dust, you know. I just think there's better options, and there's definitely better Megas. Glamora is going to be a team-specific Pokemon. Probably around here. I think it's still a really, really good Pokemon. Mortal Spin is very good. Setting up Toxic Spikes on your opponent is very good. So I still think Glamora is going to be really good. It's going to be good into the Dondozo matches, but also it's going to be good in the Dondozo team, right? So it does have that going for it. Depending on its ability, though, I think Mega Glamora can actually be a Metamon. I think it's right at that border. This is going to be probably a more offensive version, where if you see regular Glamora, it's going to be that more defensive, like what we see now. A lot of what we do see now is White Herb plus Meteor Beam, but I think that will be taken over by the Mega with Power Gem and, you know, Sludge Bomb and stuff like that. Spiky Shield is also very, very good, but yeah, I think this has a possibility of being a very, very good Mon. If it gets an ability different than setting up the Toxic Spikes, then you can like bait your opponent into thinking you're going to Terrasilize. They go for attacking to Glamora and you get the Toxic Spikes up. So there's a lot of cool things to do with that combination, and I think it's going to be a really, really good Mon. Scyther, I think Scyther's going to be pretty bad. I just don't see it being that great of a Pokemon, but it definitely has the ability to be good. It always does, because Eviolite on it is just so strong. Kleavor, I think Kleavor is going to be just slightly better than it. Then you have Scizor. I think Scizor is a niche Pokemon. It will get better when like Xerneas is around, because yeah, this Pokemon does a bazillion damage into Xerneas. And if it can't Terrasilize, then yeah. And if you like, yeah, so this will be a niche Pokemon too. Like Mega Scizor is really good. Technician, Bullet Punch just does so much damage. It just does crazy amount of damage. It's super bulky, only has one weakness, so it's pretty good. Pavilion, I think Pavilion is probably pretty bad, but we have seen it have some success in Scarlet and Violet, but it's just a little too slow. Frostlass is bad. Mega Frostlass, I think, has a chance to be like a niche Pokemon. Probably be around the bottom here. With Snow, the way it is now, we haven't seen Frostlass with Snow, but Mega Frostlass is a little bit bulkier, it has a little bit more damage, and it's faster, so it can take advantage of that Snow, and maybe it becomes a significant threat. It's going to be hard to tell. Maybe it becomes something like Articuno is now, but it's just going to be a stronger Articuno, right? It has a higher special attack than Articuno, as it's faster than Articuno, so it's possible that maybe if it keeps Snowcloak, it becomes that Articuno adjacent Pokemon. Machamp has always been pretty bad, unless your name is Wheezy. Then yeah, Emolga's bad. Mawile. So Mawile is bad, right? we're gonna put Mawile here, but Mega Mawile is a top meta mon. I think that the main stopgap for it is going to be the fire types. There's 2 really good fire types, as we see here, that are going to be strong against the Mawile teams. Also, Indeedee being in the game, which, you know, Psychic Terrain didn't really exist in 2016. So we didn't really get to see that matchup. And then when it returned back in Generation 7, you know, you had these Pokemon that would just like wall it anyways. And I think it was still okay. I didn't really play in Generation 7, the Ultra Series. But I think it was still like okay. It just wasn't what it was in 2016. But I do think this is going to be a top mega for sure. But it just depends on how good Charizard and Delphox are going to be, because those Pokemon are kind of going to set that bar for how good Mawile can be and how many Indeedees are running around. Unfortunately, Boys isn't very good, and Boys Mega isn't very good. I love Mega Heracross. We did monotype tournament singles back in the day, and I use Bug because Bug's my favorite type. And yeah, this was my sweeper. I would just set up with Scolipede, and then I would just set up a Scolipede, and then just Baton Pass and go for, you know, whatever move, because it has multi-attack or whatever. Flareon is really bad. It's probably right there. This is pretty bad. Okay, Gengar. I think Gengar is a niche Pokemon. Just Gengar on its own. It's probably around, yeah, it's probably a little bit worse than this. I think it's a niche Pokemon on its own. You can Focus Sash it. It'll be better in best of 1 close team sheets, but in open team sheets, it's pretty bad because people know that you're not Mega Gengar. But Mega Gengar is insane, right? Like Terror Song, Shadow Tag. There's a lot more ways to actually get out now. Parting Shot didn't exist back in the day, so you do gain Parting Shot now, so that's pretty good. But overall, it's going to be very similar to what it was back in the day. It also outputs a ton of damage and is extremely fast. It doesn't have the best bulk in the world, and there are going to be some Pokemon that can take advantage of that now, more so than in the past. But overall, I still think Mega Gengar is going to be very, very good, and it's something you're going to have to be careful for and watch out for. Rotom Heats, I think this will also be niche. I think the Rotom forms are all pretty niche. Fire's a little bit better than these other 2, but not as good as Water. I'll probably just put it here. Rotom Heat was actually pretty good in Sword and Shield for a while because Fire type was so premium, and what it could do was really good, especially with that Gigantamax. So I think we'll see a similar story here. Scolipede, or not Scolipede, Cyclizar, he's not very good. Heptile's not very good. Okay, Abomasnow. Abomasnow's not good, right? Abomasnow's not good. Mega Abomasnow, though, is going to be team specific. This Pokemon is really, really good. It's probably worse than Charizard, though. It's really, really good, especially in hard Trick Room with the way Sand works now, or with the way Hail works now. It gets such a big boost to its defense. You can invest fully into its HP and its special attack, and it gets that basically an Assault Vest boost to its defense. This Pokemon is extremely bulky. It could be a mixed attacker. It could be physical or special, while also not investing in either of them because it's like 132 stats for both of them. It's just such a good Pokemon. 33 speed puts it in kind of an awkward speed tier, but you can go for like Blizzard, Energy Ball, Wood Hammer. Like there's a lot this Pokemon can do depending on the meta. I think it's going to be very, very good. I'm probably going to move this down. I think Charizard's probably here. I think these 2 will be battling out for your special attacker in Trick Room, sitting next to Porygon and sitting next to maybe an Indeedee or something. And you kind of have these, and then you have like Mega Delphox for a fast Indeedee mode. Like there's going to be a lot of mind games that way. So yeah, I'm going to definitely use Abomasnow because I think it's really, really good. Lopunny, regular Lopunny is awful. It's awful. Mega Lopunny is a niche Pokemon, and I get a lot of hate for every time I put this Pokemon not very good. I don't think it's good. People are like, well, it can't be Intimidate. Yeah, but Lopunny can. So, like, what are we talking about here? If they just lead Intimidate, you're intimidated. If you bring this in the back, then it's not doing what you need it to do, which is apply pressure. So I just really don't think that this Pokemon's good. And it's extremely frail too. It's just so frail. Beedrill and Mega Beedrill are terrible. Yeah, you're bad. This is another one. I think this Pokemon's bad. I don't think it's gonna be good. It has to keep Intimidate, or it has to keep Levitate, or it's just dead. It's too mixed. Like its attack and special attack are too mixed, to whereas it doesn't even have enough defense to actually live the hits that it needs to be living in order for it to actually do that damage back in either form. And if it loses Levitate, then it just dies to Earthquake, and there's a lot of good ground types, so it can't even do electric attack. So it does have really good coverage, so I will give it credit there, but I don't think it's getting one-shots with a lot of those coverage moves because it doesn't have the stab. So there's just so many better options. Like, why are you wasting your Mega Evolution on this? I don't get what... This is another one. I don't get why people are saying this Pokemon's good. I really don't think it is. Glade and Mega Glade are bad. My boy Malamar. I think Malamar is okay. Malamar's okay. He's up here somewhere. Mega Malamar is... you know what? Screw Pyroar. But Mega Malamar is probably the worst statted Mega. By that, I mean, Malamar is the worst statted Mega out of all of them. He is very bad. This thing needs a good ability, or else this thing is just... It's just trash. It's just absolute booty cheek garbage, dog water trash. And I stand by that. Launcher it's okay. It's not great. This is another one. This thing is bad. If you're saying that this thing is better than Venusaur, you're just wrong. Just go look at the stats. Go look at what it does. Venusaur does the same things, but it's just better. It's just better. People are like, well, this thing might still have chlorophyll. Who cares? Who cares? Base Venusaur is better than Mega Victory Bell, bro. Audino is probably the worst Mega, but Pyroar is still... These two are still the worst. Yeah. Aggron is really bad, but Mega Aggron is actually going to be team specific. This is a very, very good Pokemon. Filter makes it so you take less damage from super effective attacks. It's now only Steel type, so that's a huge boost to it. And it has 230 defense. It's just better than Steelix, and it does Iron Defense Body Press. So this Pokemon is actually going to be very good, I think. But once again, team specific. It's actually better. It's actually better than this. I'm gonna switch those two. And it's one of the best Pokemon against Tyranitar stuff. So if Tyranitar is relevant, this is the best Pokemon into the Tyranitar team, without a doubt. Like, without question, this is the best Pokemon into that. Skarmory, I think Skarmory is really bad. And I think Mega Skarmory is probably bad too. It's probably up here though. It'll probably be around here. It does do some stuff. It's really bulky all around. It's very fast, but it just doesn't output. It's just like, it does output damage now, but you're hurting yourself to output damage, which is never a good thing. You can roost, but overall. Excadrill, I think, is going to be a team specific. This is going to be a really good Pokemon. But Mega Excadrill, I think, can work on its own. And I think this is going to be a Metamon. I'm going to put it just below Tyranitar because I think Tyranitar is more splashable. And oftentimes, if you're using Tyranitar, you're using Mega Excadrill anyway. So, yeah, I think these Pokemon are going to be very, very good. It's possible that this Pokemon's actually, like, up here at some point. But... yeah, this Pokemon is absolutely insane. Its damage is huge. It has 103 speed for some reason. It's just missing special defense. That's really it. Yeah, Espeon's just not good, unfortunately. I want Espeon to be good. It just never is. Emboar is bad. Mega Emboar, I think, is going to be niche, though. This Pokemon's actually pretty good, and... if it gets a decent ability, I think it can output a lot of damage and be super, super defensively bulky. So, yeah, I think it can be pretty good. This is bad. This is bad. This, on the other hand, is actually a Metamon. Oh, I know it sounds stupid, but this thing is a Metamon, and it's crazy that it's a Metamon. It can't be crits, which is huge, which is something that Goodra has as well. Can't be crits. Goes for Iron Iron Defense, Body Press. But the thing that it has over these other ones down here that are doing that same thing, it could set its own Trick Room. Bruh. like homie setting Trick Room, right? You could go Indeedee plus this. You can also run Expanding Force. Like, you can go Trick Room, Expanding Force, Iron Defense, Body Press. Like... and then, like, you could hit in multiple ways. Like, it's so good. Like, this Pokemon is very, very good. I just don't think people see the vision yet. I know a lot of people are saying it's going to be good, but I really, really think this Pokemon is going to be good. These, though, on the other hand. I think this is going to be bad. I just don't see it getting an ability that's going to make it viable. Like, I really, really like Drampa as a Pokemon, but I just really don't think it's going to be good at all. I think they're going to miss the mark. That's honestly what I think. Chestnut is probably low here, but Mega Chestnut is definitely going to be a team-specific mon. I want to put it in Metamons, but I don't think it's going to be. It's probably worse than Charizard overall. It does something similar to Slowbro, but I think that it just falls a little bit behind. But you can also go Belly Drum, and if grassy terrain is a thing, then you can definitely use that too. I think also Slowbro gets Recover too, which is like like you need 6 moves on Slowbro. But yeah, I think Chestnut for me is up here, but overall I think it will be in this team specific area. It's extremely bulky and very good. Aromatisse is just gonna get thrown over there. Regular Alakazam is pretty bad, but Mega Alakazam is gonna be a Metamon, I think. It has the most damage output, and it's the fastest of all the Pokemon that can go for Expanding Force. So I think it gets some credit there, but it is extremely, extremely frail. So you're going to have to do something about that by protecting it with a lot of Follow Me's, and well, you can't really fake out. But Watchog is bad. Clefable, I think Clefable is probably in the bad tier, but it's going to be around here. Mega Clefable's worse. Though it does have the possibility of being okay, since Togekiss might not be in the game. But if Togekiss is in the game, this Pokemon's terrible. Mimikyu, I think Mimikyu could be a niche Pokemon. People are always going to try and make Mimikyu work because they like Mimikyu, right? So Mimikyu's okay. I don't think it's anything special, that's for sure. But it could also go for Trick Room. It can take 2 hits usually, because 1 hit doesn't really do much because of the disguise in the other hit. Usually doesn't knock it out if you're vested in bulk. It is fast though, so it's not great when Trick Room is set up, but it can do some stuff. Grapple Lock is bad. Sharpedo, Mega Sharpedo are bad. Annihilate though. Annihilate is definitely a Metamon. I think it's probably here. I mean, it's good, right? There are beat up options in the game. It can do a bunch of other stuff. It can go for the Final Gambit, Trick Room stuff. Like, there's a lot of things that this Pokemon could do, and you can't really rule it out as a bad Pokemon at all. So I definitely want to put it in the Metamons, but it could definitely be team specific as well. I think it's better than team specific. But I'll put it there now because most people will probably see it as a team specific Pokemon. I'm just biased, so it's fine. Chandelure is not very good. Mega Chandelure, I think, will be a niche Pokemon. It's pretty good. It outputs a lot of damage. Gonna need a good ability. Starmie is awful. Mega Starmie, on the other hand, this is gonna be a team-specific Pokemon, but I think it's very, very strong. And if they end up giving it Wave Crash, then this Pokemon is busted, right? This Pokemon is absolutely busted. So we'll have to see. Surfetch is bad. Persian is pretty bad. This is bad. People hate on Pidgeot, but I think Pidgeot's okay. Noguard is just really good. This is probably bad. The more I think about Mega Barnacle, I just like, this Pokemon's just not it, right? All right. This is Vanillux is actually pretty good. I think it'll be a niche Pokemon, but setting up that hail is going to be very, very strong for some of these Pokemon, and it's going to be like a necessity. And yeah, going for blizzards, like choice scarf blizzards is always good too. So you can do stuff like that. Regular Marowak is not very good. Now, a Alolan Marowak is going to be team specific, but this is a very, very good Pokemon. Its typing is insanely good. With Thick Club, it does a ton of damage with its moves. Like Shadow Bone is just such a good move. I think it's going to be really good, and we've seen it. We've seen it be very good in these more limited formats. And yeah, I think it's going to be a very, very good Pokemon. That ghost typing is just so strong, and yeah, paired with that fire, it's just a really, really good one. Trevenant is going to be bad. Venusaur, I think, will be a niche Pokemon. It depends on how good Charizard Y is, whether or not the Venusaur is good. And then Mega Venusaur it's not that great, but you can definitely use it. It has had success in the past. And yeah, Thick Fat is pretty good. Corviknight, I think, is a niche mon. This is another mon that can go for similar things as, like, you know, Steelix and Aggron, but you don't have to use your Terra for it. And but I think it's just worse. If ground is very significant, though, Corviknight is good. And Corviknight is one of the best Pokemon into Garchomp, which I think is going to be a very good Pokemon. It's also really good into Excadrill and Tyranitar. But it's also ran on those teams sometimes, so we'll have to see if it's run on those teams. But yeah, that's going to be one of the Pokemon that gets paired up against that. Like, you can run like the Charizard stuff, and then you run Corviknight, and they just really can't hit you. Berserker's not good. Its ability is extremely good, but other than that, it's not good. Wigglytuff is bad. Dragonite is probably super niche. I don't think it's going to be very good. And Mega Dragonite, I think, is also going to be niche, but a lot better. It really, really, really depends on what his ability is. Like, he has the speed. He has kind of the damage. But are his stats run too thin? Like, his speed bump isn't really that significant when some of these other Megas got, like, a crazy speed bump. So it's really going to be a tough call. Florges is bad. This is bad. I think this is also going to be a niche, but I think people will try to make this work no matter what. Like, Mega Greninja could be okay, but I just don't really see it in the overall meta. Talonflame is actually really good. This is going to be a team-specific Pokemon. Probably better than Aggron. Limited formats, Tailwind is always really good, especially at priority speed. This is the only priority speed Tailwind user in the whole thing. So it has that going for it. Priority Brave Bird is also incredibly, incredibly strong. And we have things like Covert Cloak now to protect it, so you can't really fake it out. It loses that priority, but at the same time, it's still 120 base speed, so you're going to probably get that Tailwind up. 121 base speed, which is actually important because there are a lot of Megas that are 120. So being able to outspeed those Pokemon is going to be pretty significant. Salamence is like, if you're just using base Salamence, it's team specific. This is another Pokemon that you can use to bait, and it has Intimidate, so you can bait your opponent into thinking that you have Mega Salamence and best of ones, like close team sheets, but you really don't. And Mega Salamence is, in my opinion, the best Mega in the game. I don't really see any other Pokemon really competing next to it. And if Sneasler is actually in the game, this paired with Sneasler is going to be an absolute nightmare to play against. So yeah, this Pokemon is going to be very, very, very good. So definitely be prepared. Gallade is okay. I think it's a niche Pokemon. Mega Gallade, on the other hand, I think is pretty bad. I used to use Mega Gallade plus Sableye back in the day because you couldn't be faked out, and it was just really funny because they would always try to fake out, and then you would just like get one shots. It was a good time. Gardevoir is pretty bad, but Mega Gardevoir I think is going to be a high niche Pokemon. People love Mega Gardevoir. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I do see what people's visions are for it. Darkspawn is probably pretty bad. I like Darkspawn. I used it a lot in Regulation A. I thought it was very, very good. I should have brought it to San Diego, but I didn't, and I regret that. Garchomp. Garchomp is going to be a Metamon just by itself. You could use this Pokemon with Choice Scarf, you could use it with Choice Band, you can use it with Life Orb, you can use it with whatever else, right? This is going to be a Metamon. This Pokemon is very, very good. It's extremely good. I think this one's Z, right? So this one's the regular one. I think regular Garchomp is pretty bad. We've seen it in the past just not do anything because it is slower. But, oops. Oh, broke everything. Okay, but we got Z Garchomp, and I think this is actually going to be a top Metamon. 150 base. It's just a base speed increase Garchomp that you can use, like, because you don't really need an item on Garchomp sometimes. And that item could be, I'm going to get a speed boost and be 151 speed. I'm going to be able to outspeed your Delphox. I'm going to be able to outspeed your Alakazams, and I'm going to go for those Earthquakes. Like, that's what you could do with this Pokemon. Like, that, that's what I think will be the #1 item on Garchomp is going to be Z, even if you don't go for the Mega on Garchomp. Because Garchomp doesn't need the item all the time. It can still attack without the item and be very, very good. So I think this Pokemon is going to be extremely strong, and that's without its ability. We don't even know what its ability is going to be. And it's supposed to be a special attacker, but I think you just use it as a physical attacker that is now just 151 speed. It's crazy. Mabostiff, unfortunately for Mrs. Popo, this Pokemon's bad. She loves Mabostiff. These are bad. This is bad. This is bad. I know Wolf did well with one of these, but it's pretty bad. Ceruledge. I think Ceruledge is a niche-mon. I think fire type is going to be pretty good. You're going to need a fire type on your team if you're not using the Delphox stuff or you're not using Talonflame, which Talonflame I wouldn't really count anyway. Like, this is a good option. And then we have Armarouge. It's competing with too many things, so I'm going to put it in niche tier. It's probably higher in niche tier, but it's competing with too many good Pokemon that also have Expanding Force that you're probably going to use before this. Though the Wide Guard option gives it some viability. So it'll be really interesting to see. And that Psychic type also does help because you can hit things. I mean, that Fire type does help because you can hit things that, like, the Psychic type can't hit for pretty decent damage, whereas, you know, some of the other ones can't do as much. But it's competing against Mega Delphox, right? With the same typing, Mega Delphox is much faster. It does significantly more damage. It's just not as slow. So if you're going for Trick Room strategies, maybe this is the play. But then you're competing. It's just a lot. It's just a lot. I didn't even know Squawkabilly was in the game. Crabominable is pretty bad, but Mega Crabominable is actually, I'm going to put in team specific at the high end. This Pokemon is very good. It can make itself slower than Amoonguss by going for the Ice Hammer, and it one-shots Amoonguss. So, yeah. Like, this Pokemon's very good. Morpeko's bad. So, I don't think too many people are going to use just Metagross, and I don't even think it's a good bluff because it's pretty meh. But Mega Metagross is actually really good. This is probably a Metamon. It'll probably be in the lower tiers of Metamons, but, you know, that Psychic Steel type is really good. There's a lot of ground Pokemon out there, so that does make it a lot harder to use, but it does output a lot of damage, and it can survive an Earthquake, right? It could survive an Earthquake from Mega Excadrill, probably. Don't quote me on that. Probably not a high horsepower, though, because that Pokemon is beefy. I think Staraptor's a kind of a niche mon, but Mega Staraptor. I think Mega Staraptor is actually up here. It's probably around this. I mean, you come out with Intimidate. You're now fighting. Now you can pressure things like Excadrill, Tyranitar after you intimidated them. Depending on what its speed, or well, not its speed tier, but depending on what its item is, depends on its ability. I'm losing my mind. It's been an hour. Depending on its ability, like, this Pokemon is going to be insane. I don't know what they're going to give it. This Pokemon has a better chance of getting double Intimidate than Scrafty does. But I think this Pokemon overall is a lot better. It's just really, really good. It has really good stats too. Riolu, I think Riolu is a niche Pokemon. This is another one that has Prankster that can do some stuff with like coaching. So I think in that case, it's really good. It also has upper hand, so you can stop some fake outs if you need to, but you do have to invest in speed if you're going to do that. Just be careful. Lucario is really bad. This Lucario, in my opinion, is really bad. This Lucario, on the other hand, I think is actually going to be team specific. It's 151 speed, right? We already talked about 151 speed. It's very good. It has really good damage output. It's more specialized than the regular Mega Lucario. Like Lucario Z is way more focused, and it's definitely on that special attack. Its ability is going to play a big role, but Lucario can't be faked out like base Lucario, so you can always just eat a fake out on turn 1, go for, you know, your Aura Sphere or whatever it might be, and then Mega on the second time, and, you know, even put out even more damage, more than double damage, I believe he has. Absol's bad. This Absol's bad. A lot of people are saying this Absol is going to like solve a lot of the metas. No, this Absol's bad. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, wow, it has 151. Look, it can outspeed and knock out Calyrex until you realize that like Focus Sash and you don't, and then you just died Astral Barrage and you're just like, oh yeah, I forgot. Or like you just get knocked out by any Sucker Punch that's in the entire game. Like this Pokemon is just so frail. It's ridiculously frail that it dies to Grassy Glide by Rillaboom. Just put that in the perspective. Unfortunately, these aren't very good. Heatran is a Metamon for sure. This Pokemon's going to be very, very good. And then you have Mega Heatran. And Mega Heatran is also going to be a Metamon, but up here. I think Mega Heatran is very, very good. I don't think it's going to be a top Metamon because I think there's going to be other Megas that you're going to want to use over it a lot of the time. But there's going to be teams that are built around specifically this Pokemon, and he's just so bulky and can just output so much damage with 175 special attack and like in crazy bulk. Yeah, he's just going to be very good. Golurk is bad. Mega Golurk, though, I think is going to be a team-specific Pokemon. This Pokemon's actually really, really good. It gets Drain Punch. If it gets a half-decent ability, like if it keeps Iron Fist or even if it gets Sheer Force, like if it gets Sheer Force, this Pokemon is very good. And it has a cool design. So, you know, you can't take points from that. Swalot's terrible. Crobat is team specific as well. This is one of the best Tailwind setters. You can go for Tailwind, and then like you can't be faked out because of Inner Focus. It's just really, really good. And it also gets Haze. So you have a lot of combinations with that, and it's going to be really good into the Dondozo matchups, which is always a nice thing. Latios. Where did I put Latios? All right, Latios, I think they're pretty bad, right? But they got to go high pretty bad. This is if obviously same with the Heatran. If they allowed just the legendary Pokemon, probably not going to be in the first regulation, but maybe in the second regulation. I think Latios is a little bit better. We've seen it have more results recently, so we'll put it there. So Viper's bad. Okay, Gyarados. Gyarados is going to be a Metamon. This is a very, very good Mon. It's probably one of the best Intimidators, if not the best. Intimidates. It also can hit things, like a lot of things, for super effective. It's just really, really good. In limited formats, Gyarados has always been very good, and we've seen that time and time again. And then you got Mega Gyarados, who is also going to be a Metamon. I'm going to put it like around the same spot. That dark typing is actually pretty significant nowadays, especially with stuff like that in DD. Being able to set up that terrain and be able to go for those expanding forces. Like you could go for an Intimidate, and then, you know, you can go into the Terrestrialization, and now you can pressure Delphox on both of its weaknesses. Because you can go for the Crunch, you can go for the Waterfall. There's just a lot there. You can also go for Dragon Dances, which then you're, you know, super, super fast, because he is slow, but getting a couple Dragon Dances off, then you're fast, and then you just pressuring your opponent with such a good Pokemon. I think it's actually going to be better than it was back in 2016, where it was kind of seen as a surprise Mon to win the World Championship from Stadium Park. So I think he'll be much better than that now. This is bad. Clefairy. Clefairy's always going to be a team specific Mon. Like we'll put it at the bottom, but it's definitely team specific Mon. It's still good. It's always going to be good. Like Friend Guard is really good. Follow Me is really good. There's a lot of megas that don't want to take hits. This is going to be the Pokemon that you sit next to those megas, and then you can click Follow Me. You can click Life Dew. Like you can keep things going. This is going to be really good next to Mega Heatran. It's just a really good Pokemon. It's going to be good next to Tyranitar too, especially if you're Mega Tyranitar. Garganacl. I think Garganacl is going to be a niche Pokemon. Wide Guard is just really, really good. It's super, super bulky, and you can do some damage over time and some recovery on it too. So it does have those options. It's also really good into ghost moves, so you can take some attacks from, like, let's say Gengar or something like that. You can also pressure it a little bit. Yeah, there's some stuff. Thievul is terrible. Floret, like base Floret is pretty bad. It'll probably be around here, but Mega Floret is actually a top Metamon in my opinion. Pokemon's just extremely strong. This is the strongest fairy type in the whole game. If this thing is allowed, this is gonna be a Mega Hog, but in a good way. Like the amount of damage it just puts out is just crazy. It's just crazy. Yeah, it takes some recoil damage from its own attack, but yeah, it's just gonna one shot you anyways. Cobalion, I think Cobalion can actually be okay. We'll put it around here. It does Iron Defense Body Press stuff. It also has Justified, so you can beat up into Justified Body Press. Like Justified, Body Press, Sacred Sword, stuff like that it could do. Terrakion, we've seen Terrakion actually be very good in these limited formats. So if you know, regular legendaries are allowed, then Terrakion's going to be very good. Beat up, once again, you can beat it up. It gets all those boosts. Then you're going for Rock Slides. Like Rock Slide does a lot of damage. You can go for close combats. It just has a lot of good coverage. Unfortunately for you, you're terrible. Mr. Rhyme's bad. This one's bad. This one's bad. Amoonguss. Amoonguss is going to be a Metamon. I don't think it's going to be a top Metamon. We see Amoonguss actually get better the higher the power level of the format is. Of course, it's still good in these not so powerful ones, but oftentimes being able to shut down that super ultra powerful Pokemon is what wins you those games, and Amoonguss can do that here with these Mega Evolutions, but I think we'll see it a little bit more as the evolution of the game progresses and we start seeing maybe Restricteds come back. Amoonguss is going to be like a top Metamon for sure, 1000%. Also, there's just a lot of Pokemon that pressure it now, like Mega Delphox, Mega Salamence, because it cannot Terrasilize out of that grass type, and Hyper Voice, like Aerialate Hyper Voice, just absolutely destroys it. So Pikachu is pretty bad, but I wanted to put it on here because it is viable. Like you could definitely use it. Alolan Raichu's bad. Oops. Regular Raichu I think is probably a niche Pokemon. It depends on what you're running, but I think it's a niche Pokemon. Now I get these ones mixed up. I think it's this one that's bad. We're gonna pretend like one of these is the one I'm talking about. I think this one's actually pretty good. There's one that's a special attacker. I think that one is actually pretty decent. It's very fast. It's like 130 with 160 special attack. That's the one you want to use. It does a lot of damage. It still gets fake outs. We don't know what the ability is going to be, but in the actual game now, if he uses electric attack, it gets a boost to its attack stat, but we don't want attack stat, of course, special attack. And the last Pokemon is Garafai, which is a Prankstermon. I think once again will just be niche. The Prankstermons are all going to have viability just because of the fact that it's such a limited ability and there's so few Pokemon that are actually able to utilize it that, you know, they're going to come at a premium, and some people will go for Grafaiai, and you can, you know, do some crazy ability changing stuff and whatever else. But yeah, that is it. These are all, you know, restricted Pokemon and stuff like that, so you can't use any of those. There might be some Pokemon that you can Eviolite and use amongst here, but yeah, I think that's kind of the list. But anyways, guys, let me know what Pokemon you guys are excited to use in the coming up regulation or coming up Pokemon Champions. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys thumbs it up. If you're not subscribed, make sure you guys do so, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, everybody.